according to the series, 41,000.
41,000.
41,000.
Wow.
350 hours of voicemails.
Okay.
And then they added 744 tweets. This is just a sign of obsession. Any of us can agree with that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you had anyone like send you 41,000 emails, 350 hours?
I wish. I wish there's
Hey, Martha.
there have been someone.
Johnny is available.
Yeah.
Okay, no. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to FUNDAY Chat. I am Wade.
And this is Johnny.
So, Johnny.
Hi.
There's a very, very hype series that's going around. And obviously, the last few episodes, we talked about Tears of the Queen? Queen of Tears?
Queen of Tears.
Queen of yes.
Tears, right.
So that made me think about this another series that I feel like it's such a hot topic that we have to talk about it.
Oh, you mean it's grabbing the headlines recently?
Very much grabbing the headlines.
With a high profile.
Very high profile. And at the time when I first looked at my research, this had 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
In terms of the series.
So what's about now?
Now I actually just checked again because I was like, whoa, it's really hard for, I think, any movie or series to get 100% on Rotten Tomato because, you know, they very critical on certain things. But I just checked just now, it's standing at 98%. So still a very highly recommended series to watch.
So what's the reason for the popularity of this TV series?
Well, shall I announce what it is first? Yeah. Because people are probably like suspending, like, what is it? What is it?
Yeah.
So yeah, let's cut to the chase. Everybody, I'm sure some of you have guessed, it is Baby Reindeer.
Oh, Baby Reindeer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the 中文 is
驯鹿宝贝. Yeah, 驯鹿宝贝. So, you know, I'm curious about the reason why it's named Baby Reindeer.
So you haven't seen it, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. But I check out the interview.
Right, okay. You know. So you haven't seen it, so I don't know if I want to spoil it for you and our audience who haven't seen it yet, because it's really worth the watch to get to the end, and that's when they explain the reason for the name.
Is that something that is in the shape of Baby Reindeer? It's okay. Spoil a little. It's okay.
No, I'm a person who really dislikes spoilers. Are you okay with spoilers?
I'm okay with that.
Do you know I recently discovered one of my friends, they like to always flip back to the end of a book, read the ending first, and then decide if it's not a good ending, not reading it. If it's a good ending, then they read it.
That makes sense because nowadays, when we do the short video clips, we always put the most, the highlight at the beginning of the
No, that's
video.
totally different. That's totally different. Hold up. What you're talking about is like to grab people's attention. So you need to have, the most clip part.
Eye-catching part.
Yeah, eye-catching to like draw people's attention. But what I'm talking about is like having a spoiler. Like, because I feel like for me, I would never want to know the ending. I just want to go on the journey and get to that and then experience what the author or what the story was leading up to.
All right. So I think that can boil down to the fact that a lot of people, they are disappointed by the very fact that sometimes when they read, they spend a lot of time reading a novel or something. Until the end, they were like, disappointed by this result.
But you know what? At least it's part of the journey. For me, like the journey is more important than the actual ending. So anyway, coming back to this story, I'm not going to spoil it because if I was the audience, I would not want to have the spoiler. But I will say, I think why it's grabbing people's attention is the fact that it's a real life story.
Oh, it's a real life. It's not only based on a real story. It is a real story.
You made a key differentiation there. It's not based on a real story. On Netflix, when the film starts, it says real life story.
And also the lead actor, the actor,
his name is Richard Gadd.
It's also the
same person who's playing himself in the series.
He plays himself in the series.
And he's the director as well. So he's directing the film. And he's telling his story, which is crazy.
And I think the amazing thing is that when they try to find the female, the actress, they also find someone who bears a close resemblance to that girl.
So I'll give a very basic synopsis of what the series is about. It's essentially Richard Gadd, the actor and the real life person. He went through this very traumatic experience in his life. He wanted to be a comedian, and he was trying to do a comedian, but what he wasn't doing so well, so he worked at a bar as well. So at a bar, he meets the famous, the character in the series is called Martha. Yeah, so you're talking about the resemblance to the real life person. Martha
and she's like a big fan of his.
Yes, well, she became a fan later on, but Martha is a little bit of a healthy person. I don't want to say anything to like offend anybody, but
okay.
And the character, the reason why it's so cool, because this is typically, you have many stories that's based on real life or like, inspired by real life or real characters. But the fact that this is a real life story, or as Netflix has put it out there, and the director, Richard Gadd, said it's a real life story. And what has happened now, it's boiled over into our real life right now. Because what happened is this series comes out. Traumatic things has happened between Richard Gadd, the real life person, and Martha, the character.
Okay.
Based on a real person. Okay. But now what had happened was, after this whole thing came out, the real life person who plays Martha, they found who she was. And honestly, I think there's a debate here in that when you're trying to like protect someone's identity, how much do you actually put in? How much effort do you put in to actually try to do that? Because I think Netflix...
That also scares me a lot, because nowadays, whenever I leave a message on the internet, sometimes I will think twice before I leave something on the internet, because maybe I think if I leave something that like when people get offended by that, maybe they will just try to trace me down. So, this kind of like 肉搜, right? To try to find who you really are and where you are.
Yes.
It's really, nowadays it's really easy to find that out.
Yeah. So, sorry, getting back to just the storyline, just for those who haven't seen it yet. Martha meets Donnie, which is, they changed their names, right? So Martha meets Donnie, the comedian, the bartender, and they start having this sort of like just friendly relationship. Nothing weird, just a person that comes and asks for a drink.
But I think you missed one part. I think they are banters, right? They
have banters.
Exchange, like banter.
Yeah, so like joking back and forth. Like we have banter.
When the guy, when Gadd is on stage and she is showing her unwavering support by bantering with him.
Right. So that was after they developed more of a friendship, and then when he had a comedian, show, she showed up, and then she had banter from like the audience, and so it made his comedy even more funny, and people
was
enjoyed
she the
that.
only one there?
No, she was definitely among a crowd of people, but.
Just a 2-bit.
So everything sounds okay right now, right? Like everyone's like, okay, this sounds nice, like a good friendship. But this is where it gets crazy. Martha turns into a stalker.
Yeah. Wow, stalker.
And that's where it like the story really turns, because it first became like, he was just being friendly to her, and now they have this banter back and forth. But then she started sending him emails. Started sending him voicemails, started being outside of his house.
She sent him a large number of emails.
Yes.
Like thousands.
Guess how much?
How much?
According to the series, 41,000.
41,000.
41,000.
Wow. Yeah.
Imagine how many, and a lot of the
way
emails.
With words.
Apparently. And apparently, she would just, and it wasn't always appropriate things, right? So there was also very inappropriate sexual innuendos and things like that was conveyed. But besides the emails, she left over, according to the series again, 350 hours of voicemails.
Wow.
So, because he wouldn't answer, and it would just go to voicemail, and then she would just talk to him.
So is that really crazy,
So that's crazy, right?
Come to think of it, for so many voicemails and emails.
Yes.
Okay.
And then they added 744 tweets. She would tag him with 744 tweets. So this is just a sign of obsession. Any of us can agree with that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you had anyone send you 41,000 emails, 350 hours?
I wish. I wish there's.
Hey, Martha.
There have been someone.
Johnny is available. Okay, I know. But I know we're sort of joking about this stuff, but it's actually very serious how people do struggle with like people going through like stalking, and it's a very serious thing. So if you are struggling with this kind of stuff, I think we're going to touch on a little bit in a second about like ways of trying to avoid that. But just to like sort of wrap up what has been happening and why it really blew up again was because, so this was a very captivating story. And I, again, encourage all of you to go check it out. It is a little bit psychological as well. So it's, you have to be in a mentally good state. But the way they film it, it's very like good. But after this had all come out, the real life person stepped forward, right? Because they found her, and her name is Fiona Harvey. And she went on the show called Piers Morgan. And you watched the interview, right? What did you think?
I think that one is a really good show. That the host, Piers Morgan, he gave some like insightful questions and asked her on the spot. So
it's super crazy because she seems like a normal person when she was talking and stuff. But even just today, I just watched another video that was analyzing, like a body language coach was analyzing like how was she responding to certain questions, and she did trip up here and there. So the whole thing is that right now they're wondering. She says that she never sent this amount of emails, never sent this voicemails, never had those tweets. She had limited contact with him. So she's saying that Netflix is making this stuff up, and Richard Gadd is making this stuff up. Even though there are certain truths in that she did send some emails and some of these things are true.
That's the part when she kind of like
fumbled, right?
Yeah, fumbled about her answer.
Yeah, so
because at the beginning of the interview, I think she was doing quite well. Speaking.
Yeah, she seemed like a normal person, not too stalker like.
But when it comes to that part, like how many emails or how many voicemails did she sent to him, like she kind of like fumbling for the answer.
Yeah, and she kept like going back and forth, and then eventually she even qualified it by saying, even if I sent these emails.
I think that was a
big trip up.
A dead getaway.
Yeah.
A dead giveaway for that.
Right now, it's still like we're still following the story. We don't know who actually said what, but she's supposedly going to sue Netflix and Richard Gadd for this. Because I think, let's say if this is a lie and they did exaggerate these things, it's terrible what they did to her because she's getting all these threats and like she's getting these bad publicity, so it's not good. But if she did do it, then just how crazy that she was able to go on national television and just like lie in front of everyone. Yeah. So such a captivating story.
And before the show, you talk about one of your friends, even she had that kind of experience. We are not going to give away her name.
Right. Yeah, I have.
It was also a very horrifying experience.
I definitely, people around me I've heard also like similar, like also been stalked, like people watching them when they go to places and then following them home. Like that's just a terrible, especially for girls. I think like for guys it's one thing, but for girls to like,
it's hard for guys to be stalked.
You wish you had a stalker.
Except for the fact that you're really good looking.
Maybe, but either way, like let's get to some of the ways that you found that maybe can help. If you have a stalker, what can you do?
Yeah, so like when you are being followed, there are some ways to deal with it. For example, number one, you have to stay calm. Don't panic. Try to keep a calm and clear head. Okay, and number two, seek help. So immediately inform people around you or the police or letting them know that your situation.
Yeah, you know what's I think a good way, because I've also seen other people do this, where say literally you have a stalker following or just a person following you in general, it's like pick up the phone, pretend to talk, right? Just be like, like if you're a girl, then oh, hey, honey, like your boyfriend or husband, or you're like, I'm going to meet you around the corner now. Oh, you're bringing, you got your brothers with you? Oh, the wrestlers? Oh, you mean? Oh, yeah. They're the jiu-jitsu fighters, right? Oh, yeah. You try to like exaggerate.
Okay. Oh, your brother is a wrestler?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. You got your FBI agent brother with you?
Okay.
Oh, okay. But no, honestly, this is a good way to just like inform the people who are following you.
Out. Stalkers are watching our show.
Oh, that's true. We're giving them the tips. But honestly, I think you want to just say things to like make sure people know that you're meeting somebody and that they can't just follow you all the way.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, you can change your actions. Try to avoid predictable actions. Change your route or patterns or movement.
Yeah, I think that's key too, because we are creatures of habits. So sometimes we go to the same place the same way, doing the same thing. So we tend to create a routine, and I think people then start to follow that, right? It's easy for them to be like, on this day and this day, they go here. So maybe it's good to sometimes switch it up.
Try to alternate your routes.
To
different places. Okay, and also like protect your personal information. Oh, I think this one is a very sensitive issue because when I traveled to the United States to pay a visit to one of my friends in San Francisco, he even asked me not to do the 打卡.
Oh, so that people can know where you're at.
Yeah, because on Facebook it's really crazy.
Yes,
when
people can track.
Yeah, track where you are. If you put and also you put someone's name and you tag his name and also you what is that called in English?
You tag their name.
Tag the location.
Yeah,
and that will be. They would
reveal where you are.
Yeah,
and they said this too as we end off here, to also not leave when you're traveling, don't make it a big note that hey, I'm out of the house now, because then you're also inviting people to rob your place, right? You're like, hey, I'm gonna be gone for 1 month, so my place is available, So I think overall, be sensitive, be aware, just be cautious when you're going about your day-to-day life, because in today's day and age, so easy to be tracked.
So is that the reason why some people share their photos of their travel, after they come back from the trip?
I think so.
That's also one strategy,
technique.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess our question to the audience would be, what do you guys think? Do you think Martha, or the real life person, Fiona Harvey, is really the stalker? Is she exaggerating? Is she being real? It's all very interesting, and we'd love to hear your discussion on the comment section below.
I think the prerequisite is that you need to check out the show first and watch the interview on CBC or...
yeah, it's one of the British shows.
Oh, British shows, right. So, okay, you can come to the conclusion.
Yeah. So either way, stay safe out there, and we'll catch you in the next FUNDAY Chat.
Okay. Stay away from the stalkers.
Yeah. Or if you want to stalk, you can stalk Johnny.
Yeah, come here.
All right, bye-bye.
Free target. Bye-bye.